On this episode of Mighty Car Mods, we are putting the MIRA back together.
Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. The MIRA, it's painted and it's completely stripped.
Look at it, Martin.
Yeah, I got
What
so
an
much headroom.
absolute nage.
Yeah, but a nicely painted nage and proof that you cannot polish a turd, but you certainly can paint it. And then it looks really, really good.
Unless it's a blue turd. Now,
well-
Martin, there's a pallet full of MIRA junk over here. That's going, it's not.
Careful with the J word.
It's pure JDM awesomeness.
It actually is.
That's going to be going in the car. What's the game plan, Martin?
So all that has to go in here, well, almost all of it.
Yes.
Some of that stuff is mods, Mighty Car Mods, and some of it is just the interior and other bits and pieces that have to go back together. There's actually quite a lot to do. While it looks like this though, the first step is any sound deadening that we want to do,
Yeah.
any wiring we want to tidy up, any little fiddly bits with no doors on it is so much easier.
Yeah.
So the panels are actually on their way here now. They should arrive, which is the bonnet, the boot, the wing, the flares, the doors,
Yep.
basically the other half of the car.
Yep.
And so we're going to do all the stuff on the inside,
Yep.
and then we're going to put all the panels on the outside, and I have no idea how long that's going to take.
Now, Martin, the JDM internet dream
Yes.
is that you just leave this like this and you put a bucket seat in it and then you cover it with like stickers and stuff
Yeah.
and then you drive around and
Yeah.
you're all like super legit. But the reality is when you're not on the internet, you want it to be like a nice car to drive around, right? Hence
Yeah.
like sound deadening and making it all
Absolutely.
lots of purity.
One of the reasons that cars, you get in the car and go, oh, this is actually quite comfortable, is because it's not noisy and not
Yeah.
a tin can. And this is a tin can that just wants to resonate all the time. It's basically a giant drum.
Yeah.
So we sort of have to try and fix that, and now
Okay.
we have a bunch of products that will help us do that while we're here, because it's so easy to do when the car's apart. Otherwise, we'd have to strip it to do it. So we can throw all that stuff in and then slowly piece it back together. And this is not going to ever do crazy quarter mile times. It's not a race car. It's a mad little K car JDM nugget that looks cool, uses no fuel, fun to drive, turbo noises, all that kind of stuff. So
All
I'm
you need.
staying on that road.
Keeping the purity alive, Martin.
Yeah. So maybe we'll show the people what stuff we have to do, and then we'll just do it.
Let's do it, Martin.
Welcome to my palette of MIRA MIRA parts. So you would have seen all this stuff come off in the last episode where the car was painted.
It's a little unhappy, isn't it, Martin?
Oh man, every little bit of like stuff is just completely off the car. And like there's rubber seals everywhere, there's lights, there's just so much stuff, and like there's center consoles and seat belts, pretty much you name it. The seats, which are freaking awesome, they're gonna be the last thing that goes in, but we're gonna do rubber seals and all that sort of stuff pretty much today.
Are we going to clean these? Or just leave the soy, sweat, bong smoke in them?
They're actually pretty good. We'll give them a bit of a rub down or whatever, but they don't need a full rug doctor treatment. They'll be fine. The side skirts are here. They'll need to be bolted on. We also have I have some rubber seal that I've got to put on those. Of course, I've got my awesome wheels over there, which will refit probably at the end because it's for like a special treat.
Yep.
What I've also got is a bunch of stainless steel hex head bolts. Now, it's not pure JDM to change your bolts. You should use the original bolts if you're doing a restore. This is a MIRA. So I'm going to use stainless bolts. They'll last in the weather. They're brand new. They're not like smashed up or anything, and I reckon they look cool. So you can buy those off the internet pretty cheap.
There's already some on here, isn't there, Martin? I noticed.
Yeah, I temporarily refitted the guards with them. I think they're just nice and neat, and it also means that one...
Look at that paint.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
That's called the flop.
Yes.
When it flops, anyway.
Flops in the light, right?
Paint terms. That's more seals that came off, boot rubbers, all sorts of stuff. That's the seals that's going on the side skirts. There's the tail lights. We're going to fix those up. There's all the rear bumper lights. There's interior bits. There's dash parts. There's stereo parts. That is every single bolt that came off. And that's what I didn't get back when we painted Supergramps, and I had to do all that from scratch. But luckily, today, we have all those bits. And what we're going to...
You know what we can show everybody, Martin, is when we're all done, this will be completely empty.
Sure, if you say so. But what we're going to do pretty much straight up, because the car is stripped, is sound deadener. And we've got a few different types, which is cool. We've got stuff that you can put under the bonnet, which is like heat shielding, which the car doesn't have at all. We've got some tools to help apply it. We've got some just matting, your usual sort of sound deadening mat. We've got this stuff, it's by car builders. There's some dudes in Melbourne that make all this stuff. We've also got a pretty interesting thing, which is a door restore kit. Now, one of the doors, the plastic is pretty smashed up, so you can actually buy kits to replace that, which is cool. Keeps the door waterproof, protects your stereo, and stops water going everywhere. And some other little bits like just insulation tape and stuff that will help us apply it. You need to apply heat to make this stuff work properly. So heat gun, roller, some gloves, and some scissors. That's pretty much all you need. That's probably the first thing we're going to do after we clean out the inside of the car.
Nothing will stick to bog and paint dust, so a wipe down with a wet cloth will get rid of it. We're going to start with the roof, which I stripped back at the paint shop. We're applying an adhesive-backed synthetic acoustic foam made from rubber. It's much lighter than the usual tar or butyl-based insulation products, so it's less likely to fall off and onto my head. A headliner will eventually go over this, but will need to be custom made.
So you'll often hear about this part of the car known as the skin of the car, which is interesting because that's also the terminology for the head that stretches over a drum, which is the skin of the drum. Now, steel drums that you might have heard in like lots of Caribbean music and stuff like that, they've got a fundamental frequency which they resonate at. Yeah, there's overtones and different things like that, but the resonant frequency of this is what you're going to hear vibrating when you're rolling along the road. So that's what we want to try and get rid of. So we're doing that by putting in this sound deadener here. This is not going to be like a stereo car that's kind of like maximum kilowatts, maximum audiophile. This is just about making it a nice car for Marty to drive around in and try and chop the Mini with one day. I'm sure there was an easier way to open that. So basically what we're going to do is, you would have seen us do some episodes on this before, basically measure up inside here, get a rough measurement of how big that is, start sticking the panels on. I'll do one side, Marty will do the other side, and then we move on. Good thing about this, it's a big effect for a small amount of time and not much money, and they are some of the most enjoyable mods. Even if they're not the most exciting mods to do, they definitely make a big difference with your car, so it is definitely worth doing.
You can install multiple layers of this stuff if you're looking for maximum deadening. It's heavy, so keep in mind you are sacrificing performance to gain some peace and quiet.
So you can already hear a huge difference from how it was before. If we cut back to a quick clip of what it sounded like before, this is what you're going to hear vibrating when you're rolling along the road. Big difference.
Now that the sound deadener is in, we can begin to clean up the interior plastics and reinstall them back into the car. Next, the windows are going in, so the rubbers are unspaghettied, washed thoroughly, and then installed back into the frames.
I got them backwards. This one comes out. This one goes in.
These old school flip out style windows are really simple to get in and out, and I'm replacing the bolts that hold them in with M5 stainless hex head bolts to match the rest of the car. The JDM MIRA carpet is in surprisingly good condition. While it's out, we'll give it a quick blowout and vacuum and then lay it into the car.
Car just smells like Japan again, doesn't it? Like it's obviously soaked into the carpet, whatever that smell is.
We always say that JDM cars smell like sweat, soy sauce and bong smoke. The sweat is probably accurate, the other two not so much.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's probably not soy sauce because culturally in Japan, everybody sits down to eat.
That's right.
They sit down in little curry houses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone eat in a car in Japan the whole time. I mean, you and I
Except
road
us.
cycling crazy. We're always, going berserk. But even walking around eating food in Japan, people kind of think that's a bit weird because you're kind of meant to sit still.
That's right.
So soy sauce, probably not so much.
But you know what it is? I reckon a lot of it is cigarettes because smoking is more of a thing over there than it is here.
Yep.
And so I reckon
petrol smell. Like the petrol is way more pungent
That's right,
than here.
yeah. Smells like sweeter. Well,
Martin, that is looking excellent.
Isn't it? It's starting to look like a car again. I mean, there's some major parts missing, but they're on their way. We should see them any minute. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
There's just a
A
massive...
massive grey pube. Look
Dude,
at that.
an old person owned this.
Wow, look at that.
An old person owned it.
Yeah.
Man, our panels are here.
Is that our panels?
Does it come out with you in the car?
Yeah, you're calling me fat.
A little bit. I can't believe how good that looks compared to what it used to look like. Remember all the damage on it? Remember how damaged it was? Now it's going to go back on our mirror and look awesome. Yes. Look at it. I now have almost all the pieces to this puzzle. We made a lot of progress this morning already with carpet and insides, but really the most work now is in reconstructing these doors. I've got to put the handle on, the lock in, the seal for the glass. I've got to flip it over. I'm going to sound deaden it while I've got it here. So I'm going to do a bunch of work on both the doors, and then when the bolts get here a little bit later on today, I'll be able to attach them back on the car.
I'm using wax and grease remover to clean the inside of the door skins ready for the sound deadener. It's then a matter of cutting the pieces to shapes that I can fit through the access holes and applying to the door. While I'm here, I'm going to replace the original plastic door liners. This kit comes with the adhesive material and heavy duty plastic that you apply to the door and then trim to size. With that done, I can turn my attention to the rear hatch, which needs to be bolted on once the rubber seal is reinstalled. I can then install the rear wing, which is both glued and bolted into place onto the hatch. With the rubbers cleaned and refitted, now it's time to attempt to get the doors back onto the car.
And Nathan, the awesome panel beater who helped us make this car as straight as an arrow, has come down after work to help me gap the panels. Now, gapping the panels is tricky. That's when you put everything back in and then you've got to line it up, right?
Yep.
Is that sort of the idea?
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
And so what do we do now? Like, what's the next few steps?
The next few steps is we'll put the hinges on.
Yep.
We'll put the check strap on.
Check strap's this thing here, eh?
Sorry, that thing there, yeah.
Yep.
We'll put this one on. And then we'll line it up, bolt the door up, line it up,
Yep.
and we'll see how we go.
And do you leave, like, when you put these on, it looks like you leave it all loose?
You can leave them loose, you can tighten them. I prefer to leave them loose.
Yep. And then what do we do? Sort of both of us grab it by hand?
I'll grab the back, you grab that side, and I'll bolt them up, and we'll see how that goes.
How many cars have you gapped?
Or in 8 years, so I don't even know. I wouldn't.
Thousands?
Yeah.
Thousands. So this is no big deal then. Also, I realised that I sort of made a slight mistake and I should have labelled these. Now, I thought I won't label them because as soon as you put paint on, you won't be able to see the label, but you can like engrave them or scratch them or something,
You
right?
can engrave them from the back, so you can't see them once you put them on,
Yeah.
and they're out of the way.
I should have asked you that the other day, hey. Whoops. All right, let's put the door on there.
If your doors already fit and operate perfectly when you take them off, then it's a good idea to mark their exact fitment on the hinges. In my case, the doors never fit properly, so we're going to have to do this all from scratch. You can adjust the door on both the body and the door side of the hinge to go up, down, left and right. Sounds easy, but the door being so big, it sags once you let go of it, so you have to compensate to get the fit just right. It takes a lot of patience, trial and error. With the guard and doors in place, I can refit and lubricate the window channels and clean any dirt, dust and overspray off the glass. A brand new razor blade on a handle makes this job easy, along with some window cleaner for a final polish.
We have got so much done on the MIRA. Had a really, really good crack at it yesterday. The paint is still looking fantastic, although there's one or two more marks on it than there were before. Just handling marks.
Yes.
Which is my bad, but it's okay. It will buff out, as they say.
It's
and
looking like a car though.
It is, because the glass is in it, and the glass has been all cleaned up. And I put the window rubbers back in, and Nathan from Elite Collision Centre, legend panel beater, came and helped gap the doors, which sounds like not a big deal, but it's so difficult to get right. With doors on and off like 6 times, just to get the gap perfect here and the gap perfect here. And Now it's looking really nice.
And that's an always changing puzzle. I remember when we were in the Ford factory in Germany and they were doing it on the Focus RS that we were building, and they have these little stars that are all different widths, and they've got to stick it in there to get it all perfect.
To check it. So
and this is looking good though.
And being that these panels are also old and they've been bent and repaired and everything, it all sort of, like we worked out that the reason it wasn't fitting was because the front was bent.
Yeah, okay.
So you just bend it back and then the whole thing works.
Yeah, nice.
Anyway, so the outside's starting to look like a car again. Door trims are a bit smashed, so I may have to fix them.
Door trims over here.
That might be a later thing because they're just a bit 27-year-old and sort of falling apart and broken. So I don't really want to put that back in its current state. But we're going to do everything else in the interior and just put them in last.
Yeah, cool. See what we can do with those.
We're going to do door handles. We're going to do mirrors. We've got the bonnet back, the bonnet scoop, the front bars.
I'll tell you what I want to do, Martin.
Yes.
I want to do the bumpers and the lights.
Done.
Because these lights here are in desperate need of some avocado, urine and toothpaste. They're looking very cloudy.
You can do that if you want.
So we could do that, or we could just use the new ones that you bought.
Yes, from Malaysia. Thanks, Malaysia. So
I'm going to do bumpers and lights. What are you going to do?
I'm going to finish off the doors because currently you can't, we can't actually open the car.
Yep,
and if you
this
did
is
that
true.
on both sides, you're locked out. Except that we could pop the windscreen out and climb in.
We could just get in.
You could just get in that way, exactly.
Yep.
So I'm going to finish the doors so they work. I got some new locks for it, which is awesome because it was one key and it wouldn't work in any of the locks.
Okay.
So now I have two keys that start the car and work the locks.
Okay, cool.
That's enough. And basically, then the last thing I want to do is put all the flares and the body kit back on.
Yep.
And then put our wheels on.
Let's do it, Martin. So I'm polishing up all these lights. As you probably got the idea with this build, it's all about these little things. It's all about the prep and putting a bit of polish on these. Of course, you can use avocado, urine or toothpaste. We've done it before. This is just using a Ryobi drill. Most of the time people are drilling holes with these, but you can get paint stirrers, you can get these, you can get all sorts of different stuff with it. And this here, I can probably give this a little wipe and show you the difference. It's taking about 30 seconds each one, and you might be able to see the difference. Bottom one that I've just done, top one looking festy. Really quick, really easy, going to make a big difference and make the little car look mad.
While the lights are all getting polished, I'm going to finish off the doors. Part of that involves fixing the locks. Now, the issue I've had with my key to my MIRA, which is awesome, has this cool key ring that a Legend fan made for us. It's actually a genuine Daihatsu key. It's probably the spare, but it is the right key, so I'd like to keep it. Now, these are the door locks. That's left, right, and boot. The boot sort of works. Like if you really give it a twiddle, then the boot will, well, it won't work. I've had it work once or twice. Door key doesn't work at all, so you actually can't get into your car. And I think this one does work. So I've got, out of all those locks, I had the ignition that works and one door. What I've managed to do is get a set of aftermarket locks, which will fit into the doors directly. And so now I'll only have two keys. I'll have ignition and I'll have doors and boot, but the boot's triggered from inside and you rarely use the key anyway. It's really hard to get these. You can also get them rekeyed as well, which is another option, but this is really cheap. We're talking like 40 bucks. You get a full set of brand new locks and that come with keys and they just work straight up like that.
The older and rarer your car, the harder it is to replace items like these. If your car is more common or newer, you can often buy factory replacement lights for cheap off the internet, which can save you the hassle of refinishing. You can also clear coat old lights, which will protect the plastic from UV light that deteriorates them. Lock sets also exist for newer cars, which would make every lock the same. However, this car will get central locking, which means I won't need the door and boot keys much anyway. With the locks in, the driver's door gets some sound deadener while the rear bumper is finished up and the fuel cap is reattached. Next up, we're moving on to the front end.
All right, so these are the old headlights that are coming off. We were talking about polishing these up, but Marty has actually ordered some new ones from Malaysia, which are here. Look at this. This is going to be exciting, Martin. Oh. Oh, look at that. That is a kind of replacement that gets you excited. Look at that.
Yeah.
So we are going from that to that. That is freaking awesome, man.
That is going to look so good.
That is unreal. Look at that. It's going to be like a new car, man.
Let's put them in. Let's put the
New
bars on.
Nugget.
I'm excited to see it.
In the mid-90s, Daihatsu sold a license to the Malaysian company called Perodua so that they could reproduce the MIRA. Over there it was known as the Cancel, which is also the name of a mouse deer or a clever person. Some clever people have gone crazy in the aftermarket scene and made a bunch of parts that, luckily for me, will also fit the original JDM MIRA, like these headlights.
It looks so good. Like, that's transformative. We've got to put the bars on and have a look. Thank you, Malaysia, for creating an aftermarket for these cars. I mean, Japan created one, but Malaysia really took it next level. Nice little international community we have, isn't it? Doing cool car stuff.
Martin, it looks excellent.
Let's bolt them in and then put the bumper bars on.
Which are here
So good.
and ready to go.
Excellent.
All nicely polished up. Looking excellent. With that on, we're actually going to get to see kind of what this looks like, because the back's going to be the most finished looking part of the car.
Yes.
Look at that.
Unreal. It's so shiny.
What a nugget.
Mad nugget. So good.
I just can't believe this is that same car from all that time ago
I know.
that's now here, even though it's kind of not, because you look through here and you can see it's a white car in there.
And everything that was sort of grotty and not nice on it is all sorted. I'm getting that really excited feeling, because you know how a lot of the time you go, oh, I better not bother doing X because I've still got to do the Y or whatever. Like it's all done now. It's like a brand new car.
I mean, it's like a brand new car because this has been more work than any car we've ever done.
It actually has.
And this car, other than the TRD Laser that was $92.50, this is the cheapest car, right? This was $300.
It was $300.
Far out, man.
Yeah, it's good, huh? So,
What's next then, man? So outside, it's got no mirrors on it currently.
no mirrors on the mirror. They're behind you on the motor compo.
Yes,
Of course.
excellent.
They're sitting over there.
There's hipster YouTube dickheads with their moto combos.
That's right. There's indicators that need to go on here. And then I suggest we do some inside bits and just tick that off the list.
So do you want to do mirrors and indicators now? Or do you
Yeah.
want to do inside stuff now?
Mirrors, indicators, tick that off the list. The last thing I want to do is flares, body kit and wheels, because that's sort of all one thing and potentially the trickiest, so we'll leave that till last. I've also painted up the wiper arms and things as well, so we can put them back on.
Yep.
But we're getting close. It still looks like a big pile of stuff, and it is, but it's mostly those, the bonnet, the seats, and I'm going to...
The wheels are taking up heaps of space.
I'm going to fix that. Like, I don't have time to do that today, but I'm going to get that fixed in the meantime.
Wait on, what about all this?
That's all. A lot of that is seconds, like second lots of stuff. Like, for example, they are the wipers. Check out the snow spec wipers.
Wow.
They're like got this rubber shield on them so that they don't rust as easy or something.
Yep.
I don't know what that's about, but that's from the actual Japanese one, which
So
we don't need.
everything that's on here doesn't have to go in there, it's just spares. Because it looks like heaps of stuff has to go in there, whereas I'm saying seats, some interior parts, some mirrors, a bumper, and off we go.
That's right.
It will be finished today, Martin.
It actually will. It'll drive today.
That's excellent. All right, let's get to it. Let's do the mirrors, because it looks like an earless donkey.
That's mad.
Thank you, Martin.
Show me. Show me. Show me. Yeah, dude. A mad tip for when you're tightening up bolts like this, particularly when they go into plastic, is to use something like this German bendy thing, because then you can't get quite as much torque on it. It's really easy when you've got a ratchet just to go and then accidentally pull it out, and then you've got half an hour of trying to fix the thing. So it's a mad way to make sure you've got just the right amount of torque, because these things don't need much at all. Perfect. Take a seat, man.
No, you get in the driver's seat, Martin. Don't even think about it.
Oh, yes. I just tried to put the seat back and then realised I can't because it's a tiny car that doesn't have much space.
Oh yeah, well I'm on maximum back this. There we go. Here we are, Martin.
It's just as cosy as it ever was, isn't it? How many hands can you fit in between? Oh, none.
It's excellent.
Isn't it? It's
so good.
It's quiet too
It's very quiet.
because of all this.
Oops.
Sorry everybody on the internet. Maps, so toto, map. This is me like literally an hour from now.
Yeah.
Map, so toto, map, so toto, 35 k's an hour. Map, so toto, 51 k's an hour. My fourth gear. Map, so toto, 68.
He's very excited. You know, it's going to be amazing, people. 660cc turbocharged MIRA versus the 1.3 litre Yaris. It's going to be such a good battle.
You and your Yaris.
Aren't
Yaris.
Aren't they gonna love it?
No one cares about Yaris, man.
they? They do.
You reckon?
I'll tell you all the good things about a Yaris. And that's why, in my opinion, the Yaris is like the best car ever made. That's 7 solid reasons. What do you reckon?
I was filming that whole time.
Were you? Good. If you didn't, then everyone in the comments will write the 7 reasons why the Yaris is the best or worst car of all time. What's next, Martin?
Body kit. I have been leaving this to the end because I'm the most scared about it. Oh, dude, and the bonnet.
Yes.
Oh, and the windscreen. But the body kit is the scary part. Maybe we should leave the bonnet as the reward for getting the body kit done.
Yes.
Right.
So body kit, by body kit, we mean side skirts and 4 flares, right?
And flares, yeah.
Okay.
It's still going to be a bit fiddly. It was fiddly the first time, and now it's all painted, and I'm scared of scratching it.
All right.
It's going to be all right, isn't it?
The side skirts have a series of bolts underneath the car that hold them up, while some fresh double-sided tape sticks them firmly to the side of the car. We're really close to having ourselves a finished MIRA. There's wipers, trims, wheels, and a few extra special mods still to go next time on Mighty Car Mods.